VMware by Broadcom has reversed course on a decision to cut out major partners for their major accounts. This news comes as Broadcom announced that instead of taking its largest 2,000 customers private in a sales capacity, they're instead only going to take their 500 biggest buyers private and open the remaining 1,500 customers to partner deals. The move is seen as a way to stem the flow of companies that are slowly moving away from VMware solutions when license renewals come up by having local resources and trusted partners that can leverage relationships. While none of the largest VARs in the US have released any statements about this switch, the community is generally skeptical of the announcement and worried what might happen if Broadcom decides to change their mind again once those renewal deals get signed. Stephen, how do you see this happening with VMware? Is this a move to bring partners back into the ecosystem, or is this a last-ditch effort to get some of those renewals?
Well, I think they're trying to get those renewals. So far, what we're hearing from our friends in the industry, both on the end user side as well as on the software vendor side that have ways of seeing things like this, is that there hasn't actually been a mass migration away from VMware. In fact, the number of migrations has been modest enough that when a major account does decide to switch from VMware to something else, it becomes a news-making story, like we've talked about here on the rundown. That being said, there's definitely a lot of disgruntled customers. There's a lot of anger. There's also a lot of disgruntlement among VARs and other VMware partners over the way that VMware has been treating them and the way that VMware has been approaching this. And we do know that some customers have told us that they are holding off and signing, maybe holding off entirely on signing a renewal yet until they decide what they're going to do, or maybe they're going to renew for a shorter term or a smaller number of seats or something. They're trying to figure out ways to reduce the inevitable increase that, based on the announcements that Broadcom and VMware made earlier this year. So maybe what we're seeing here is a sign that VMware internally is a little worried about those renewals. I suspect that that's what's going on. So as we discussed on the rundown earlier this year, Broadcom, VMware decided that they were going to focus on the 2,000 biggest customers, that those would go direct, that would be a way for Broadcom, VMware to directly service those companies, to really focus on selling into those accounts. Now what we're hearing is that they're really going to focus only on the top 500. The rest of them can go to resellers. But the question remains, why are they doing this? Are they doing this because customers aren't signing up? Are they doing this because customers really want to work with value-added resellers that actually provide them additional services? Are they doing this because they just don't have the internal resources to service 5,000 big accounts? We're really not sure what's going on. One thing we can be sure of, though, is that the catastrophe, the migration away from VMware, has not happened, and that VMware and Broadcom are softening their approach to some aspects of this, including, by the way, things like rebates and so on. They're softening their approach to a lot of the various tools that they've had in the sales process. And we may see a softer Broadcom VMware in the future.